Hi everyone, and thank you for joining the November 2023 VMware TAM Customer Webinar. This webinar has been organised by the VMware TAM organisation to provide our customers the opportunity to hear great content and interact directly with great speakers that are delivering it with the goal of making sure that you are getting the full benefit from your software. Please make use of the Q&A feature to ask any questions to our speakers, and if your question doesn't get addressed today, please be sure to reach out to your TAM and ask them to follow up. Before we get into today's content, there are just a couple of basic announcements. Our next TAM Customer Webinar will be on Thursday, 7th December, where we'll hear all about how best to secure your vSphere virtual infrastructure. As mentioned, we do want you to benefit from these sessions by interacting directly with the speakers. So if you have any questions during today's webinar, please do use the Q&A feature in Zoom. We will answer any questions towards the end of the session. At the end of the session, you will be asked to fill out a simple survey related to the value you received from this session and to provide any topic suggestions for future webinars. Your completion of this survey is a really valuable gift back to us, so we'd appreciate if you could take the time to fill this in. And lastly, this webinar is being recorded and your TAM can make the recording link available to you. After a few months, the recording will be publicly available on the VMware TAM Services YouTube channel, which you can access from the QR code on the screen at the moment. And so that brings us to today's speaker and topic. We're joined today by Anmol Kulkarni, Product Manager within our Cloud Infrastructure Business Group, who'll be providing an update on vSphere Plus and the available cloud services. So over to you, Anmol.
Thanks, Ami. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar. It's great interacting with all of you. First of all, good morning, good evening. As Ami mentioned, today we'll be going through what vSphere Plus is and what are the new capabilities that are available on the vSphere Plus platform, right? So let's get started. So just a standard disclaimer, the presentation does contain, deep dive into what vSphere Plus is, as along with its current capabilities. But we are going to talk about what is, upcoming, and we just want to be mindful that we are still developing these, and they are available as either early availability or beta, and this might not be the final outcome of how these features do turn out. But we'd love for you to participate in this discussion, get to know what is coming up next, and share with us your thoughts as well. Now, coming to before we dive into what vSphere Plus is, right? All of us would know what are the benefits of having public cloud, right? You do have the capability of hyperscaling, which means that having the ability to go ahead and scale your infrastructure without having to go through an expensive procurement operations, right? Along with having the capability to have flexible consumption, which means that you can spin up workloads as and when you please, and you can go and stop ahead when the need for that no longer exists. Along with this, public cloud also gives you built-in resilience in terms of having the uptime taken care of, and with SLAs which public clouds provide, along with the ability to access your public cloud portals from anywhere, right? On top of this, the expectation of maintenance of your hardware and your data center resources is minimal, along with the ability that it gives the developers in terms of the agility that they can have in their software development lifecycle. So these are the benefits of public cloud. And what we as VMware wanted to do is that we strongly feel that these cloud benefits are needed on-prem, right? Which means that your business critical workloads which are running on-prem can be enhanced by these cloud benefits. So with the suite of softwares that we want to provide, we wanted to ensure that our customers get a flexible consumption model. The maintenance overhead on our customers is minimal, along with having the ability of built-in resilience and giving the developers in a customer organization the agility to build the software that how they prefer. Along with this, today the VMware software in our data center is closely linked to having the ability to manage it or to access it from physical locations. So we wanted to uplift that and provide our customers the ability to manage their infrastructure from anywhere. So keeping this in mind, we as VMware thought that these benefits are necessary for our on-prem customers as well, right? With that, we come to this product called vSphere Plus. So in the first part of this webinar, what we're going to go over is deep dive on what vSphere Plus is and what are the existing cloud services. And we'll talk about a few of the critical cloud services like configuration management, lifecycle, workloads, etc. And in the second half of this webinar, we'll we'll go over what are the new capabilities that are in pipeline or already available as beta for our customers. Moving forward, first I'd like to draw your your attention to this side of the slide over here, right? So as you can look over here, so the bottom box here represents a typical VMware customer environment. You have your VMware ESXi servers at the bottom, which are managed by a bunch of VMware vCenters. On top of these hardware or your data center, you would probably manage your traditional appliance, modern appliance, real-time appliance, and bare metal workloads. So with vSphere Plus, what we wanted to provide is a cloud console which connects to your data center on-prem and provide an add-on admin services, DevOps services, and other capabilities. And the key goal here is to be able to save your operational costs. With the cloud console, which is located on the cloud, what we give is an ability to have centralized management for all type of workloads, which are again running on-prem. So just one thing to keep in mind over here is that when we say vSphere Plus, we are also talking about VCF Plus. So any cloud services that we discussed today will be available for VCF and VCF Plus customers as well. Now looking at how a typical vSphere Plus environment would look like. You would start off with your current data centers that are displayed over here. It could be your main data center or a bunch of other data centers, your remote sites in, let's say, a location A, and another remote site in another continent that could be, let's say Europe or US or wherever it may be, right? So how does this environment look like? So VMware Cloud sits in a cloud center or a cloud environment, which is managed by VMware. And what we'll do is connect to your on-prem data centers by using on-prem gateways, right? And these gateways do connect to your data centers, and it provides a secure bridge between your data center as well as the VMware Cloud. Not only that, once your on-prem data center is connected to VMware Cloud, we do provide add-on capabilities such as inventory, configuration management, lifecycle management, and ability to manage your subscriptions as well. So the question now may be, how do I get started with vSphere Plus, right? The process is simple. You go ahead and procure a subscriptions from VMware. Once you have procured a subscription, you would get an email in your inbox, which gives you a link to our cloud portal, which activates your subscription on cloud. Once you have access to our cloud portal, the next step that you have to go ahead and do is deploy the cloud gateway VMs that we talked about in the previous slide. So with this cloud gateway, what it allows us to do is create a bridge between your on-prem data center and our cloud. Now in the gateway VM, you would go ahead and add your on-prem vCenters. Once you add your on-prem vCenters, what it allows us is the ability to scan your on-prem environment and make sure that your vCenters are available directly on cloud. So once you have added your on-prem vCenters, you go ahead and register that gateway details directly with the cloud. There are a few details that you would need. For example, the IP of the gateway, the key, and a few credentials that would help the VMware Cloud access the gateway. Once this is done, the gateway is visible on the cloud along with all the vCenters that you have added on-prem. So the process is simple. First, deploy your cloud gateway, connect your cloud gateway to a cloud instance, and post that, you'll be able to manage your on-prem infrastructure directly from the cloud. Now we have talked about what vSphere Plus is. How do we get started with vSphere Plus? At this moment, I'd like to shift our focus to today's topic, which is basically what are the new cloud services that are available on vSphere Plus, what are the value that we provide, and how you can leverage it to help simplify your day-to-day operations. So once you have connected your gateway to our cloud, the first and foremost capability that we provide is the ability to manage your on-prem infrastructure from a single cloud console. So drawing your attention back to the previous image that we had discussed, once you connect your data centers to the gateway and hence to the cloud, this is the cloud instance that would look like. So you would have your inventory, which lists all the vCenters that you have connected to the cloud. Not only that, you can go ahead and monitor the stats of the vCenter in the state in sense that you can see the capacity, you can see the memory and the storage that it has, and perform a few operations on it. So let's look at what these capabilities are. So first, you'll get a global inventory. Any vCenter that you have connected to the cloud will be visible over here, along with the ability to go ahead and see the more details of the vCenter. And the main point here being that you don't have to log in to each vCenter to be able to access this information. So we provide a single pane of glass view that you can go ahead and list down or see the lists of all your vCenter along with key details regarding the vCenter. Not only that, you can use this cloud instance or the cloud console as a single entry point into all your vCenters. You just click on each vCenter and click on Open vCenter, which lets you go ahead directly and log in into the vCenter. Apart from this, you can see high-level information about the resource, such as vCenter or your VCF instances. And along with that, you get your vCDR integration inbuilt. So let's go ahead and take a look at the demo. You will land on this page called the inventory. Inventory page is where you can expect to find all your connected vCenters or VCF instances. Not only that, you can go ahead and see the different cloud gateways that are available for this account. If you have landed here, or if you're using vSphere Plus for the first time, you can expect this page to be empty. At that moment, you would have to go through the onboarding process where you will have to go ahead and set up your cloud gateway and connect all your on-prem vCenters. These steps are clearly mentioned in this page, as well as the Learn More page that you would go through while onboarding your account. This page shows the listing of the vCenter instances as well as the status. You can see that this vCenter instances that we have in our lab environment is connected, it is subscribed, it mentions what is the type of the instance, as well as the few salient features of this instance. Now, let us explore a particular vCenter in more detail. As you can see, you can open the vCenter H5C client directly from here. But let us explore the cloud capabilities that vSphere Plus portal provides. If you click on View Details, you would deep dive into the different aspects of your vCenter instances. You can see a summary of your vCenter that was available as a snapshot on the front page. But not only that, you can see different events and alerts that have been triggered as part of this vCenter. Right. So that was your vCenter or your vSphere Plus global inventory in a snapshot. Right. Now, moving on to the next capability. Once you log in into the vSphere Plus. Sorry. So the second capability that we want to talk about today is a simplified vCenter lifecycle management. As you all might be aware, the vCenter lifecycle is a process which takes up a lot of time, right? The original process that we had is basically you would go ahead and create your new vCenter VM, then go ahead and stop an old vCenter, copy your data from the old vCenter and start the new vCenter. So what this leads to is a downtime, which is in hours, right? So what we wanted to bring you is a one-click low downtime upgrade for your vCenter, which is directly managed from the cloud, and which lets you not only upgrade one vCenter, but upgrade multiple vCenters at the same time. So what we are saying is that we will use a migration-based upgrade policy, which will create a new vCenter VM, copy data from the old vCenter, and once all of this is done, we will stop the old vCenter and then move over to the new one. So what this does is it brings down your downtime from hours to just minutes. Not only that, we have taken care of a few things to help you make this process a lot easier. First and foremost is that we promise that it's going to be a vCenter upgrade with minimal disruption, which goes down from hours to minutes. Not only that, it lets you create or schedule your upgrades much more faster. What that means is that if you were to upgrade once in 6 months because of the downtime that you faced earlier, you could go ahead and increase that frequency much sooner so that you get more and more and newer capabilities, right? And not only that, your patch fixes lets you address security vulnerabilities much more faster. And what we also do is that we bundle a few capabilities within. What that means is that once you have set up your upgrade process, we do a bunch of pre-checks, which takes care of ensuring that there are no issues that you would face at the upgrade process. Once you start the upgrade, and let's say for any reason this upgrade does not work, we take care of rolling back the upgrade and ensuring that your old vCenter is presented to you. So what this does is that it orchestrates the entire upgrade workflow without manual intervention and lets you upgrade your vCenter to the latest version with minimal downtime. So now let's take a look at a demo of how this would work. Click vCenter upgrade. You can go ahead and upgrade your vCenter directly from a particular VC and clicking on vCenter upgrade. Once you come to this page, what you would go ahead and see are a few configurations which needs to be set up only once. You can go ahead and click on select a cluster, take care of the IP assignment, choose your troubleshooting network, and you're good to go. Once you have set up the bare minimum configurations that are required to run this vCenter upgrade, you will be notified whenever a new upgrade comes in. Let me show you what does the page look like once you have upgraded or once you have set up this configuration. Once you have set up this configuration, your vCenter update page should look something like this. You will be notified both via email, notification, as well as a banner over here whenever a new build version of your vCenter server is available. You can go ahead and check prerequisites, and we'll run a bunch of pre-checks which are required for you to go ahead and update your vCenter. And post that, if you click on update now, your update process should begin. The downtime that you would experience is less than 5 minutes as we go ahead and utilize a migration-based upgrade process, which helps you seamlessly update your vCenter to the latest version. Apart from this, you can go ahead and check your configuration, edit the configuration, as well as check the history that you might have done, or check the history of any upgrades that you might have done in the past. So as you can see, right, once you go ahead and set up, the initial configurations, what this portal allows you or lets you see is whenever a new upgrade is available, you can go ahead and see the details about this upgrade. You can check the release notes to see what is coming up new or what vulnerabilities it fixes. Do a quick check prerequisites, which lets you ease your mind in terms of saying that, hey, my systems are ready to be upgraded. And then once that is done, you just click on upgrade now and you're good to go. Not only that, it lets you see the history of your upgrades for that particular vCenter. So the next capability that we have on vSphere Plus is the global vCenter compliance. So desired state configuration, or configuration drifts as we call it now, is a capability which lets you create profiles for your vCenters and check drifts with that profile. So it is foremost a profile-driven compliance checks, and it lets you check drifts with your advanced settings, and it lets you provide security context to your vCenters. Now, when we look at how we do checks for drifts, what we first go ahead and do, as you'll see in the demo, is have or get the ability to go ahead and create a document called as a profile for each of your vCenter. That profile contains the settings or the configurations that you would like each vCenter to be compliant with, right? Once you go ahead and create that profile, you go and you associate that profile with a particular vCenter. You can check compliance at go, or you can go ahead and schedule the compliance. So why should we do all this, right? So we do it for this. So this is how your check compliance results look like, right? This is the drifting settings page that we have on vSphere Plus. We'll go through the demo in a bit, but I'd like to quickly talk about the value that we provide through this. First, if you see the drift screen, the profile is a JSON document, which means that it is easy to read, it's easy to edit, and it's easy to manage by code. Not only that, these JSON documents, you can go ahead and visualize these as what is the profile value that you have provided and what is the actual vCenter value. So this provides you a very precise way of seeing where the drift has occurred and what is the exact setting that you need to go ahead and change for you to overcome this drift or remediate this drift. Now let's go into the demo, and then we'll talk more about this capability.
Compliance status of your vCenter. If you click on the compliance tab, you can come over here and look at what are the drifts that are available with a particular vCenter. Now let us explore this feature in more details. To learn more about configuration drift and to set up your profiles, you can go ahead and click on configuration drifts. If you're clicking on this for the first time, you would probably not see the screen, but you would have an option to click on create a profile. But if you're constantly using this feature, you can go ahead and see the overview of your vCenter instances. You can go ahead and look at the total vCenters that are configured and the status of each vCenter. You can see that 3 are non-compliant, and you can quickly see what are the vCenters which have the maximum drifts. Similarly, you can see the status of the profiles. Now let us go ahead and see how can we go ahead and create a particular profile. You can click on profiles and go ahead and click on create a profile. You can add a particular name for the profile. I'll call it demo profile over here. Click on next. Here you have an option to either extract this configuration from a particular vCenter or import the configuration from a JSON file. So I'll go ahead and extract it from a vCenter. What this does is it will pick up all the configuration settings that are available on that particular vCenter and create a file out of it. That file is called as a profile. Once these profiles are extracted, you can go ahead and choose to either assign it to one vCenter or multiple vCenters, or you can choose to create and leave the profile independent. I'll go ahead and assign it to these 2 particular vCenters. Here, you can see the summary of the details that you have provided in the profile creation step. For example, the name, the type of profile, the vCenter that you have extracted it from, as well as the vCenters that you want to assign. We'll go ahead and click on create a profile. The profile creation process has begun. As you can see, the demo profile is now ready for you to see the details of the profile as well as check compliance with the associated vCenter. Let us go ahead and see what a standard profile looks like. If you click on the profile name, you can go ahead and see the assignments of the vCenters that is associated with the profile, as well as see the settings that a particular vCenter has. We have provided a convenient JSON-based profile and this editor to go ahead and explore your profile. You can check the different sections, what are the settings that each profile has, and go ahead and look at the properties. If you want to check the compliance, you can either check compliance by choosing a profile over here, or you can click on drift and go ahead and click on a particular vCenter and click on check compliance. This vCenter we have noticed will say it has 44 drifts. So let us see how the drifts look like. If you can click, we come back to the same page called compliance. And here you can see the setting name, which is drifting, the category it belongs to, the subcategory it belongs to, and what is the setting on the server, as well as what is the desired setting that we had set in the profile. To explore this further, you can click on this and it shows you a side-by-side JSON comparison. Or if you wanted a more different or a more detailed view, you can click on the button over there, which will pop up this JSON diff editor, which you can go ahead and check the compliance. And you can quickly and easily see the different drifts that are available.
Right. So that is our configuration drifts capability on vSphere Plus. So the whole idea behind this is that any VI admin can go ahead and define a profile and assign this to multiple vCenters. You can go ahead and check drifts manually, or you can go and schedule a drift compliance, which will, based on the schedule that you set, saying that I want to have a drift check every 1 week or every 1 month, it will go ahead and provide you those details. Not only that, it will send a notification as well as an email to the email addresses that you have provided in the schedule drift check page, and it lets you be on top of any changes or any drifts that your vCenter might have. So we believe that this is a very powerful feature, which helps you get started with profile-based compliance management right from day one. Moving to the next feature that we have on vSphere Plus, it is called as Global Capacity Planning. It is a capability which is powered by ARIA operations, and it is available in the infrastructure operations or the operations tab of vSphere Plus. As you can see, if you click on operations, this capability lets you see the capacity of different clusters that you have in your data center. Not only that, it lets you, or it gives you a warning about whenever a capacity on those clusters are running out. So this could be memory bound, CPU bound, storage bound, or time bound. So as you can see in the capacity summary page, you get an overview of the status of each of your cluster. As you can see here, it says that 76 clusters are in critical state, 2 clusters are in the warning state, and 271 are in the normal state. And if you wanted to deep dive into status of each cluster, you can click on these arrow buttons, and it lets you see the details of the cluster, namely what is the name of the cluster, which vCenter it belongs to, how many hosts it has, the core count, VM, CPU, etc. Now the question may be, how are we determining the criticalness of this state? So what it does is that it goes ahead and calculates the trend of each of these parameters that your cluster has, right? For example, CPU, memory, and storage, namely. Based on this trend, you will be able to we will be able to predict that when does this reach 100% of state. So as you can see here, we see an upward trend, and if this cluster continues on this upward trend, in 44 days, we believe that the storage runs out. So why is this useful? It helps the VI admins to take timely action to expand either capacity in terms of storage, in terms of memory, or the CPU that cluster would need by adding more hosts or expanding the sizes of each host. So in a nutshell, this capability by capacity planning on vSphere Plus lets you go ahead and be on top of all the be on top of all your clusters and ensure that none of your workloads face downtime because of running out of storage, memory, or CPU. Now coming to the next feature that we have on vSphere Plus, we are calling it the global VM operations or your workloads. So on vSphere Plus, you can get one consolidated view of all your workloads, be it virtual machines and in the future containers, from one single place. So from this page, you can go ahead and do VM operations, such as starting or stopping your VMs, changing the disks of it, changing the network settings, or creating a new VM. Not only that, from this page directly, you can go ahead and protect these VMs by using our DR capability, which ensures and creates a copy safely so that if this VM goes down, you can recover easily. As you can see, the VM page has a list of VMs from all your clusters and all your hosts. You can see these VMs or workloads directly from a single pane of glass and manage multiple VMs from a single go without having to log in to each of these vCenters. Coming to protection, you can choose a particular VM that you want to protect by disaster recovery. Click on it and click on Assign Protection tag. Based on these VCDR-based rules, which lets you protect your VMs, VMware will automatically take a copy of these VMs and ensure replication so that you can easily recover these VMs in case of any downtime or any disaster. This video will quickly walk through the capabilities of the Workloads tab on vSphere Plus.
Coming to workloads. Workloads is a vSphere Plus feature which lets you see all the different VMs that are running in your data center. In workloads, you can see the virtual machines as well as the VM templates. These VM templates are extracted from your on-prem vCenter and they're available for you to consume from the cloud. Coming to VMs, you can go ahead and see the different VMs that are running. You can see the name, the vCenter it is associated to, what is the guest OS it's running, and the status of the VM. You can see more details about the VM if you click on this arrow, which will show you expanded details like VMware tools, the network, the IP address, which host it belongs to, and the cluster it belongs to. you can quickly open this in vCenter to go ahead and do further actions. If you were to click on the Create VM button, you would go ahead and be able to launch a VM in your data center. You can give a name such as demo VM, choose the vCenter you want it to be a part of, choose the data center, as well as the cluster you want to run it on. You will be able to choose the template source, which is a local template, or you can go ahead and use a no template option where you can set up the guest OS directly from here. I'll go ahead and choose the no template option. You can choose the data store. Here we have chosen the DS400 as the data store, as well as the networking. So we are going to choose the VM network to go ahead and launch a VM. In this page, you will be able to see the details or the summary of the details that you've entered in this Create Virtual Machine wizard and be able to go ahead and click on Create VM.
Right. So that brings us to all the capabilities that we have in vSphere Plus as of today. Now let's get to the part that we are all here for, which is the updates in vSphere Plus. And let's talk about the new features that we are working on, which are either in development or close to launch. We'll talk about 5 features today, which will help you enhance the things that you can do from the vSphere Plus portal, as well as makes the lives of vAdmin much easier and in the end save operational costs. The first feature that we want to talk about is the global ESX compliance. Like we looked at the different vCenter compliance capabilities in the previous previous service that we talked about, which was vCenter compliance, we are expanding it to have ESX or ESX cluster and host compliance. So this is how the screen would look like. You would have the ability to create ESXi cluster configurations, right? These cluster configurations will derive the profiles from your existing clusters and create a bunch of configurations that will apply to the clusters. So you can manage these clusters, check drifts, and remediate this. Now, how would this look like on the cloud? As you saw in the previous vCenter compliance, what we go ahead and do is create a document called a cluster compliance. This cluster configuration document is based on the new VCP capability that we have on-prem, but not only available for A2U2 onwards, but we support this capability directly from vCenter 7.x line. What that means is that we give you all the greatest features that come with the vSphere configuration profiles that was launched in A2U2, but we allow you to use that feature from vSphere Plus for all your 7.x clusters as well. To talk a little bit about what this cluster configuration means. So you might have all used host profiles, right? So what we are doing is that we are moving from host profiles to cluster configuration. Cluster configuration is a singular document which applies to your cluster instead of a host. In cluster configuration, what you would have a section called as a profile, which are the configuration settings that are applicable to all your different hosts. Apart from this, you would have a configuration section called as host overrides and host specific. So what this lets you do is that instead of manage each host independently, you'd go ahead and manage all these hosts in a cluster. Any changes that, or any new hosts or any new host that gets added to this cluster will come under the same management, and it makes it very easy to go ahead and manage your cluster. As you can see on the screen, you can go ahead and see drifts for each of the hosts under the cluster. For, let's say, host number 10.182.1.88, these are the drifts that you see. As you can see, we follow the same paradigm for cluster drifts as we did for vCenter drifts. This is the configuration value that was present in the cluster configuration, and that we expected this cluster configuration, that we expected these configuration settings to match. But when we did a drift check on this cluster, and especially this host, we noticed that the IP address or the DNS server address for this cluster or for this host was incorrect from what the configuration is. And that is why we go ahead and throw a drift. Similarly, you can go ahead and check drifts for all these different hosts. So what we believe this feature gives you is not only the ability to manage your clusters one by one, but the ability to manage your clusters from the cloud console, to manage all your clusters across different data centers directly from the cloud console. Apart from this, in the future, what we're working towards is giving our users the ability to go ahead and create templates out of these profiles, which makes it even more easier to go ahead and manage hundreds and thousands of clusters and hosts that you might have on your data center. With the expanded ESX cluster configuration capability that we bring, your configuration drift section will now support both vCenter compliance as well as your cluster compliance in one place. With that, you can go ahead and see an overview of all your compliance from one screen, do a global drift check of all your clusters, hosts, and vCenters from a single place, schedule your drifts, and be notified if any of these assets are not compliant with any of the standards that you have kept in the profile. We talked about the vCenter lifecycle management. We are expanding this to ESX lifecycle management. With ESX lifecycle management from the cloud, we believe we will be able to deliver a lot of value by simplifying your upgrades. So before this feature came in, how would a typical VI admin go ahead and upgrade their ESX hosts? You would go into each data center, you would go ahead and upgrade or plan your upgrades for each of these data centers separately and plan these upgrades for each of these clusters. So this is a slow, isolated, and painstaking upgrade process. What we are promising is for our VI admins to achieve order of magnitude productivity gains. As you can see, your different data centers are spread out. And instead of going ahead and managing each of these upgrades within these data centers independently and individually, the cloud console that we have over here lets you create rollouts, which will let you create an upgrade plan and upgrade your hosts from one single place. So what does this ESX lifecycle management service provide? It lets you know whenever a new upgrade is available for your host. It also lets you define desired state system images. These are the images that, or ESX host images that would go onto your hosts. You can go ahead and build out that image in a specific manner which works for your organization. And not only that, you can ensure and check compliance if those desired state images work or are compatible with your hardware. After doing this, once you have created your images, there are a bunch of pre-checks that we have written and consolidated so that these pre-checks will help you mitigate any risks in upgrades that you might see. Once these pre-checks are done, you can plan a rollout upgrade on the entire fleet of your pre-checked hosts. And not only that, these host upgrades are all orchestrated, and you can monitor the process of your upgrades directly from the cloud console. So what we believe is that once you have created your upgrade and rollout process, you will be able to get to a much more consistent and compliant host upgrades much faster than ever before. And not only that, this also lets you stay on top of your security issues by bringing in your patch upgrades much faster. And it lets you enjoy the newer ESXi features that we as VMware bring to our customers. Now let's look at how this feature would look like on the vSphere Plus console. As you can see, we already talked about the vCenter lifecycle upgrade. You can go ahead and see the host upgrade that are available. So once you come on the screen, you can see what is the latest version that is available for an upgrade. You can look at what was the release date of it and the release notes, so that you can get more information about why you need to do this upgrade. Post that, you can go ahead and create a rollout. A rollout is an upgrade plan that they can create on the portal, which lets you help manage and monitor all your upgrade process. Once you create your rollout process, you would have to go ahead and set a few settings, which is basically choose your ESX base image that you want for your organization, choose your vendor add-ons if you want to add based on your host types, and then the advanced settings of drivers that you might need to ensure that these add-ons or drivers are available for your host to consume when the upgrade is done. Once you have done the upgrade, another capability that we support with ESX lifecycle upgrades is to see or to scan your entire data center and let you know if any of your VCs or any of your hosts are running out of support, which means that if you are in an older version of VC, we will let you know which of these VCs are unsupported by VMware. And if there are any VCs which are set to expire from the support, we would also let you know that. Not only that, this is not only for VC, but we'll also let you know for hosts as well. So which helps you stay on top of your support compliance, the support status, as well as the time remaining that you need to upgrade before the support runs out on those versions. Moving on, let us talk about cloud consumption interface. Cloud consumption interface is powered by ARIA automation, and it lets you leverage your deployment of your VMs and your modern applications, such as containers, right from a single place. CCI is part of vSphere Plus, and this was intended to go ahead and give our developer community a much easier way to leverage vSphere Plus in their software development lifecycle. So the things that you can do out of this screen or this capability are VM operations or bulk VM operations, such as manage your VMs across different data centers from a central place. Not only that, you could do it in a bulk fashion. So for example, if you wanted to shut down hundreds of VMs after 7 p.m. because those are dev instances and you wanted to save energy by doing so, you can orchestrate that from here. Not only that, you can go ahead and do all your Tanzu Kubernetes grid operations, such as creating namespaces, creating volumes, creating networks, and make them available as infrastructure for all your developers in your organization. So using your CCI interface, it not only helps you manage your business critical workloads that are required for you to run your day-to-day operations, but also provide you an interface for your developers so that they can consume their infrastructure directly from a portal and not having to worry about different infrastructure tasks that they need to do in order to get ahead and develop their applications. Another new feature that we want to talk about today is the group vCenter and policy management. So the group vCenter is a capability that we are bringing in, which lets you logically create groups of your not only vCenters, but your hosts and clusters as well. You can go ahead and define this instead of at a local level in your particular data center within one vCenter. You can create that grouping on the global level. So these groupings need not be bound by physical locations now. You can go ahead and create these groupings based on logical divisions. For example, based on your org structure, based on the application it's serving, or based on the team that it is serving. You can define these globally. And not only that, once you define these, you can create a few set of properties. For example, policies like sync tag across multiple vCenter instances. Once you create policies like this, it operates within that grouped vCenter or grouped host resource or logical resource that you have created, and ensures that all the items in the group behave similarly based on the policy that you have set. So let's look at what these policies might be. So the simplest use case that we envision here is tag replication across different vCenters. When we say tag replication across vCenters, let's say you have created a group of 4 vCenters which serve the production requirements of your application. Within these 4 vCenters, you can go ahead and create a policy which will ensure that any new resource deployed, for example, a VM or a host, gets the necessary tags for you to be able to identify, manage, and operate different kind of day-to-day operations that you require in those logical group vCenters. You can also set RBAC policies. You can also set view policies for these different vCenters, as well as the kind of global libraries that should be available for your different vCenters. So we envision that being able to logically separate out and create groupings of vCenters and having policies which will help create different rules that how a certain grouped vCenter should behave is going to be helpful in terms of managing and operating your data center and your global data center infrastructure. Coming to the next capability, here we talk about user access and federation. Here we want to emphasize and talk about the different capabilities that vSphere Plus allows and different role-based access control and access provisions that we have provided as part of vSphere Plus. First and foremost, user access and user communication between all the components of vSphere Plus are always encrypted, be it from gateway to vCenter, be it from gateway to the cloud, as well as the user access from the cloud. All these follow a strict standard of encryption. Not only that, one thing that we want to emphasize for all our customers is that local vCenter permissions are always honored by the cloud services, which means that you don't have to go ahead and create new groups and permissioning on the cloud. The user, if managed by an AD, will automatically inherit all the permissioning that they have on-prem. And if they do not have access to any particular VC, host, folder, or any property on-prem, the cloud will not show that resource to the user. Not only that, you can federate your local AD users within the cloud portal, which means that you don't need to have a global AD plane so that your customers can go ahead and manage. Apart from this, we support external identity providers such as Okta, Azure AD, and ADFS. And you can use the on-cloud CSP service account and add it as an user on your on-prem infrastructure so that cloud users can access the on-prem infra as well as provide permissioning on it to ensure that only the required users or only the required users have access to the required resources. The last topic that I want to talk about for today is the ability to have health and diagnostics directly on the cloud portal. Health and diagnostics on cloud portal is powered by our tool called Skyline Health Diagnostics. What this does is that we bundle the capabilities of Skyline Health Diagnostics with our vSphere Plus portal, and the diagnostics can be fed directly into the vSphere Plus portal, and you will be able to see if there are any critical findings that the users might see. For example, let's say Skyline Health Diagnostics runs a diagnostic scan on the vCenter named here. You can see what are the critical findings that it has found, what are the moderate findings, and informative findings. You can quickly see different issues and view reports for a particular vCenter. Not only that, you can do this for different assets such as a particular data center, a cluster, or even a host. To go ahead and see much more detailed view of these issues or reports, you can click on these buttons, and from a single place on the cloud, you will be able to monitor, diagnose, and fix any issues directly from a single place instead of having to log into different portals. So these are the different health plans that are available as plugins from Skyline, and you can go ahead and action these out directly from the cloud. So coming to the last portion, we also want to ensure that you are aware that we have a whole bunch of compliance and certifications for our vSphere Plus portal. We have the Cyber Essentials Plus from the UK government, the ISO 27001, ISO 27017, 018, and SOC 2 as well. We are also working towards getting PCI compliance. We have SOC 2 type 1 and type 2 compliance as well. And the only reason that we want to share these details with you is to get you comfortable with the idea of connecting to cloud and being reassured that there are benefits to connecting to cloud, like the services that we have talked about, and it is safe and secure to do so. I'll just take a pause here, and I think we have a right to a Q&A section. I'll quickly check if there are any comments and questions over here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Amol. I think we've got a couple of questions. I think we've probably answered the first one. So what kind of configuration settings are pulled from the vCenter for profiles? Is there anything else to add on that one? Or I think we went through that one during that section.
Sorry, you were talking about which one?
The configuration settings that are pulled from vCenter for profiles.
Right. Yeah. So just to quickly add on there, right? So the configuration settings that we pull are mainly appliance settings, such as your access settings like SSH and your remote login settings. Apart from that, we also look at the inventory settings that we have in terms of being able to configure your DRS and HA settings and rules on the vCenter itself. And we are slowly moving towards providing more such capabilities. So we are looking at providing an auth-based compliance settings where you can see your global groups, roles, and permissions from the cloud, as well as an alarm settings. And what all helps you do is to standardize all these settings across your different vCenters so that you spend less time configuring each one of these separately, and you can do it right from a single place on the cloud.
Great, thank you. And then we've just got one more in at the moment. If anyone does have any other questions, please do put them in the Q&A. We've got time to take them. So could you give us a bit more information on what happens if you have a VIB installed that isn't able to apply the profile?
Right. I'm just quickly reading the question. Right. So I'll have to get back to you on this. I'll have to fetch more information from the engineering team and get back to you on what exactly is the issue raised here, and we can get back on this. Does that sound okay?
Thank you. Cool. We'll just give it one more minute and just see if any more questions come in before we wrap up for today. Cool. We've got a couple more in. So will sharing of subscriptions across orgs be available?
Right. So today we don't have a capability called sharing of subscriptions. What we let you do during purchase time is have the ability to define and create how many subscription you would need for different orgs. And having that ability to define that in the beginning itself would let you, in a way, share subscriptions within the same order.
Great, thank you. And we've got one more, but I think Divya's typing the answer here.
I can take it live actually.
Yeah, thank you.
The question is, how are VCF environments managed with this, or are they out of scope? So today vSphere Plus is compatible with VCF. You can register VCF instances with vSphere Plus. Very soon, it's on the roadmap to have a deeper integration.
Divya. Then we've got the next one. Is the larger company roadmap to merge vSphere Plus and ARIA more thoroughly? Would that necessarily bring more public cloud management into vSphere Plus?
Divya, would you like to take that?
Yeah, I can take that. So the short answer is yes. There is already some integration that's there. vSphere Plus already has some things which are powered by ARIA, and more will happen as we go forward.
Great, thanks, Divya. Next one, some of the prerequisites. I think we can probably share the link to the vSphere Plus documentation here to cover that. And then we've also got our vCenter and vSphere Edition licenses represented in vSphere Plus for centralized license management.
Right. So on the cloud, we'll only be able to manage your subscriptions. You'll not be able to manage your vCenter licenses. So you'll have to upgrade your process to, you'll have to upgrade your licenses to subscription, and then you'll be able to manage your subscriptions on the cloud.
We've got a question around the deployment model, so the vSphere Plus deployment model on public cloud or on-prem.
Right. So as we talked about in the beginning, right, vSphere Plus is only the portal that you see is on public cloud. All the workloads that run will be running as part of your on-prem data center itself, right? So you bring your data center in as it is running right now, and what we do is give you an ability to connect your data center to the cloud via a secure gateway, and you will be able to enjoy all the services that we have on the cloud. So it is still an on-prem workload model, but only that the services are delivered via public cloud.
Great, thank you. And we've also got in, are there any plans for robo as subscriptions?
Yes, there are discussions going on to support this as well. We don't have a concrete answer as of now, but we shall be able to get back to you soon on this.
Thank you. Okay, I'll just give it one more minute and just see if any final questions come in for today. We've just had a couple more. So are there any new costs outside of licensing?
Right. So there are no other costs outside of subscription. The only thing that you would do is pay costs for your subscription, and the subscription is charged as a per core cost. And outside of that, there is no other cost to use these services.
Okay, thank you. Just going back to the robo licensing question, will we allow those licenses on the same vCenter that has vSphere Plus?
No, so robo licensing is currently under discussion. Plus, there are people who are experts on that who are not on this call. So if there is a question that needs follow-up, you can send it over email and we can get that.
Yeah. Probably a bit of a broader question, but are there any plans to stop the requirement for new appliances and essentially have a single cloud gateway?
Right. So apart from anything that requires an ARIA integration, we are not asking customers to have any new appliance, right? So it's only going to be the cloud appliance, and with which you will get the capability to all these to use all these features.
Will vSphere Plus support initial or early release access to allow customers to test new features before GA releases?
Right. So the question is the question on the vSphere Plus GA? If that's the question, vSphere Plus is already GA, and you can request for a free trial today to go ahead and register and check out the portal. If the question is on early release of different services that we talked about today, yes, if you're subscribed vSphere Plus customers, you can reach out to the TAMs or us to sign in for the different early release features for different features that we have talked about, and we will enable those for you.
Great, thank you. And I'll just give it one last minute, just see if we get any final questions in.
I will stress on one point which Anmol just mentioned, which is that vSphere Plus is already GA'd and there is a hands-on lab available for people to go and try it out. Then there is a free trial option also available where you can try it on your test servers and see the usage.
Great, thank you, Divya. Yeah, please reach out to your TAM if you have any questions on that, and we can coordinate with the product team as needed. Cool, so I think we are all done with questions for today. Anmol, Divya, thank you so much for joining and for running this webinar for us. It's been great to hear about all the new cloud services that we have available to us through vSphere Plus, so thank you for your time. And thank you to everyone who's joined today's webinar. As we mentioned at the beginning, this presentation has been recorded and your TAM will be able to make that available to you. Please join us next month when we'll be looking at vSphere security best practices. We look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.